Hello and welcome to our live stream video today. My name is Jenny Kite. I'm a platform lead at rok.auto, focusing on edge strategy and integration with cloud offerings, including software as a service or SaaS. During our time together today, I'll be talking with two of our experts at rok.auto about how to improve operations outcomes for manufacturers by using SaaS and edge computing technologies. Joining us during this live stream from Plex will be Ben Stewart, the Vice President of Product Strategy. Plex is a recent Rockwell Automation acquisition, which offers the only single instance multi-tenant SaaS manufacturing platform operating at scale. This includes advanced manufacturing execution systems, quality, and supply chain management capabilities. During this live stream, we'll also be chatting with Shirayu Shah. Shirayu is the business manager for cloud services and IoT at Rockwell Automation and has over 20 years of experience in helping manufacturers do more with their production data. As we get started, I'd love to hear from you. What are the first thoughts that come to mind for you when you talk about extending SaaS to the plant floor? Please use the comments section below to enter in your thoughts or concerns. So let's kick it off with Ben Stewart. Thanks for joining us, Ben. You've been leading digital transformation for 15 years. What have you seen change for manufacturers this year and last?
I think what we've seen with the pandemic this year and last is really some acceleration and some changes that we were already seeing trending among manufacturers. Companies were already challenged with finding sufficient workforce and with supply chain disruptions, and those have certainly been exacerbated. We found that companies are needing to do more with less resource then, and so they're looking for ways that they can get more insight into their operations, that they can deploy automation, and that they can also guard their quality controls as well. So we've seen that the workforce has turned over more frequently, and it's challenged to have trained operators on the floor and making sure that their quality standards are enforced. So those are things that an MES system, manufacturing execution system, can help with. And so we've definitely seen more companies doing that, needing to do that in a remote way, and then to bring that insight and control to their operations and their manufacturing processes.
Okay. So how is SaaS MES different from traditional approaches that are out there? And I guess why would you say that manufacturers should consider it?
Yeah, so we definitely see manufacturers have a variety of control systems in place on their shop floor. A lot of those are manual processes. They're using spreadsheets and sometimes paper and pencil and things to control their processes. Often their quality is separate from their manufacturing controls. And so what we've seen the difference with SaaS compared to traditional methods or even on-premise MES systems is that if a company has processes that are fairly standardized, you can deploy a cloud MES system very quickly. There's a difference between you configure it instead of customize it. So whereas some processes are very complex and they need a very bespoke, customized solution to handle that exact manufacturing process. But many processes aren't, and many factories aren't that way. They can take a very standardized system that can be configured to that particular manufacturing, and then that template can be quickly deployed across that plant, across multiple plants, so that they really get a very fast time to value. They get a very clear ROI. Because they can put those controls in place with much less effort than a heavily customized system.
Oh, that's really great information. So how would you suggest that companies really get started on that journey if they want to go down it? How would they actually measure their success if they did that?
So there's several things that they can do. One thing is to identify those key pain points early on. So you want to look at what are the things that are really troubling you in your operations today. Are you having quality issues? Are you having issues keeping up with the demand from your customers where you're not able to produce enough? You have resource shortages where you need to automate more, and then focus on those things and start a pilot. Look there and see where you can address those key pain points and find a solution that helps you. A lot of times companies need help with a business case, right? They're trying to justify the need for automation and for controls. So most companies like Plex and Rockwell, we provide a value engineering team that can come in, work with the customer, look at the particular metrics and pain points that they have, and then help them determine, with a system like this, they can go through and they can reasonably expect this type of improvement in quality control, in first time quality, in inventory turns, things like that are really measurable and add to their bottom line, and then can justify the price of putting in one of these systems and the effort, so that they can really show a lot of value to their ownership and their customers and their investors.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this topic. So there will be demonstrations of Plex and a products and technology session dedicated to Plex Automation Fair, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Awesome. So I believe that session number is PT32, and it's called the Value of a Cloud Solution to Drive Digital Transformation. That'll be at Automation Fair. So
I'll be speaking on the subject. I'll be giving more information on that, and then there'll be live demonstrations available on the showroom floor.
This sounds great. So if you're just joining us, we just heard from Ben about the future of manufacturing execution systems. It'd be great to hear from you as our audience again. So, I'm wondering, what are some of the data silos that you all have that you'd like to break down? So if you want to go ahead and jot an answer down in the comment section below, please feel free to do so. So Ben gave us a really great introduction to start talking more about edge computing and how we connect our data from edge to cloud. So here with me to share some additional insights is Shrayu Shah. Shrayu, I know that the cloud gets a lot of attention when talking about IT-OT convergence, but the edge is really a critical piece of this as well. Can you share a little bit about why you are considering edge to cloud architecture to be so important?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Jenny, and thanks, Ben, for inviting us for this conversation. So from edge to cloud perspective, before I get to talk about technology, one of the core pieces that Ben talked about, which is very, very important, is the business outcomes, or trying to drive some specific business outcomes, be the quality problem that he was describing. And within that context, customers today are looking for information to accelerate those programs. And what happens is a lot of these applications that were previously deployed have a lot of this data across multiple disparate systems. And what we're trying to do from edge to cloud perspective is really simplify the process of data acquisition and then storage, and then exposing that to all these applications upstream that are looking for that insights. So from our perspective, edge becomes a very critical aspect of this solution. Instead of just thinking about streaming data solution, we're really looking at how we can organically bring all this data together and then bring that into a purposeful model, so that upstream we can actually get more context and more information, and then simplify the process for people who are actually building these applications or outcomes. So it's really the productivity tool and really simplifying the architecture. We can talk about the security context, we can talk about the performance context within that, but ultimately it's really simplifying the data acquisition and retention methods to build the business outcomes that we're after.
It makes sense. So, not every company necessarily feels that they have the tools or the skills or the time to really build out this type of architecture. So maybe what are some of the solutions that Rock Automation is building to help enable a faster digital transformation?
Great question. So we all ponder this in the industry, the buy versus build, acquire technology versus building our solutions. There are multiple ways to accomplish this, right? You can go and look at hyperscalers that are out there today and build technology solutions within that context and really build the lifecycle services around it. What we've done at Rockwell is really leveraged our industry know-how and the acumen that we've developed over the years serving these industries within manufacturing context to build solutions that are purpose-built for our customers. So when you get to our solutions to connect to data sets, either from Rockwell devices or third-party devices, we're just allowing you to accelerate the data acquisition instead of thinking about bits and bytes that you have to build and manage. So we're allowing you to focus on where your core competencies are, which is really managing your process in your business, and we are taking away the complexity of technology by really simplifying the data acquisition. So Edge Gateway product was produced along those lines so that we can simplify the data acquisition from Rockwell contexts and Rockwell devices, but also from third-party devices as well, singular, secure manner, and then we can push that data up and make it available to your enterprise applications.
Okay, that makes sense. Are there any other aspects about, our edge to cloud solution at Rockwell that you think are better than some of the others that are out there in the market that we can share?
Great question. So the big value that we deliver is when you start to think about data that you need to deliver specific business outcomes. Today, you have to map a lot of this streaming data and individually map it into an application. Instead of that, what we are able to do is actually take the context and the data model where the source exists and bring that data along with that context into your application. So instead of a customer who's starting from scratch with all this data that's coming through from different sources and then trying to make sense out of it, we're actually organizing it in a logical model that gives them the asset context, that gives them the line context, that gives them the performance context that they to be able to make sense out of this data. We also bring this data and integrate that with enterprise systems more effectively. So you don't have to go build custom solutions around it. And the third thing that we are doing is really performing this building this at a high performance level. So we know how to measure and manage the controller and the layer of communication at the automation layer. So we're simplifying the data acquisition, simplifying the process of acquiring the data, and then making sure that data is securely stored. So the whole process of data acquisition for all these cloud applications is simplified by one trusted broker service that is vetted, secured, certified in the edge to cloud context, and then you are essentially just focusing on building your business outcome. So in true sense, we can simplify the execution, simplify the data acquisition strategy, and upstream applications like Plex MES can really leverage this data with context and accelerate the business outcomes in the processes that you're trying to improve.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you, Shirayu, for sharing your thoughts on the topic. I'm really looking forward to showcasing some of the new edge to cloud capabilities that we have with you at Rockwell Automation Fair in a few weeks. So if you'd like to learn more before then, please visit rok.auto/automationfair21 or click the link in this post to get more information about Plex systems, edge to cloud solutions, and how we can help transform your operations. So thank you all for watching and sharing your thoughts in the comments of the live stream. And thank you very much, Ben and Shirayu, for the great conversation. Please stay tuned for more about how SaaS and Edge are the future of operations. Once again, this is Jenny Kite, and I hope to see you at Automation Fair in Houston.